Good evening, good evening, good evening. Or technically, it's after midnight over here. So I should say good morning, good morning, good morning. Blitzball Champ is back here once again, bringing forth another live edition of Pro Wrestling Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming, coming at you live here on the U to the 2. So, it's good to be back on here once again. We got quite a bit to discuss tonight. Stardom's Goddess of Stardom World Tag League has begun, so I'm going to go into the current results of that. We have New Japan Pro Wrestling's Power Struggle next big event. The card for that event has been revealed, and I know they are starting the road to Power Struggle, so they got a whole bunch of shows lined up as they make their way to Power Struggle. But I'll go over the card that they've revealed for Power Struggle, the main show. I'll also quickly go over what was revealed of PWI's top 10 out of 150 best female wrestlers of this year, 2021. So I'll go over what they revealed, the top 10. Let's see. Also go over the usual AEW, which they've kicked off not only the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament, but as well as the TBS Championship Tournament as well. So we'll talk about those. The usual WWE, including a new season of Smackdown that's kicked off now that Crown Jewel is in the books. So we got a good bit to talk about tonight. So let's go ahead and dive in. Hope everybody's been having a good weekend so far. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So we got let's see, one second. We got the Goddess of Stardom Tag League that started this weekend. So let's go over the current standings. Let's start with the Blue Goddess block. So got 6 teams on both blocks. So Blue Goddess block. So far sitting at 0 points are the team of C Moon, which is made up of Lady C, Wakatsukiyama. They haven't wrestled yet. Mayu Iwatani and Ren Katakura, which they haven't wrestled yet either. Dream H, which is Tam Nakano and Mina Shirakawa, they have wrestled. Unfortunately, they have lost to the team of Shuri and Maika. We have Kotora Kaido, which is made up of the team of Starlight Kid and Ruoka. They actually have 1 point. They went up against Azumi and Momo Watanabe, and that match came to a time limit draw. And of course, Momoaz, which is Azumi and Momo Watanabe, 1 point as well. As I just said a moment ago, they have the draw with Starlight Kid and Ruoka. Right now, the only team at the top of the Blue Goddess block with 2 points is Ponytail and Bushido, or otherwise known as Ponytail and Samurai Road, made up of Shuri and Maika. They have 2 points with the victory over Dream H, which is Tam Nakano and Mina Shirakawa. Looking at the Red Goddess block, so we have 4 teams with 0 points. We have Water and Oil, which are the sisters of Hanan and Rina, which fortunately they lost their first match against Hazuki and Koguma. We have the Cosmic Angels of Unagi Sayaka and Mai Sakurai, which they haven't wrestled yet. We have Himepoi 21, which is Himeka and Natsupoi, which they haven't wrestled yet. We have Aphrodite, Utami Hayashishita and Saya Kamitani, which they have wrestled and they've lost to the team of Saki Kashima and Fukiken Death. We have Oedo Tai and FWC, tied at 2 points. So Oedo Tai, Saki Kashima, and Fuki Kendef defeated Aphrodite, which I thought was crazy. I got to talk about that a little bit. I'm at the point where Fuki Kendef is really starting to get off on my last nerves. Like, I get her gimmick, but it's getting kind of ridiculous. Like, just seeing her get roll-up victories. I mean, I don't even know. Does she even have a finisher? Or is it just the O'Connor roll is her finisher? Because, honestly, that match that they had against Aphrodite, she got hit with the Star Crusher. Saya went for the pin, and then she just reverses it. Despite getting... Oh, wait. First, after getting hit by a double drop kick, then getting hit by the Star Crusher, and she still rolls up Saya Kamitani for the 1-2-3. That makes no sense to me. Like, I can understand if she tried to do the Star Crusher and she just reversed it, but she got hit by it. She got hit by it. Like, so now Fuki Kendef can absorb finishers and get the roll-up victories. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I get the gimmick, but it's gotten to the point where that's annoying. So annoying. So annoying. So I just had to throw that out there. But Saki Kashima and Fuki Kendef Oedo Tai have 2 points. And FWC, Hazuki and Koguma have 2 points because they were able to defeat the sisters of Hanan and Rina. So, like I said, starting off kind of interesting. Hazuki and Koguma, I got a feeling could go far in the blue block, in the red block. But I think Aphrodite will bounce back. So keep an eye out for them. As far as the blue block, I mean, Shuri and Maika look to be the strongest, but don't sleep on Azumi and Momo Watanabe. So don't sleep on them. But like I said, it's still early in the tournament. There's still a couple of teams that haven't wrestled their first match yet. So we'll have to see what happens. This tournament's just gotten started. So we'll have to see how things go going forward. But anyway, that is all for Stardom for now. Let's take a look. You know what? Let's take a look at this New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle card. So we got 9 matches on this card. This will take place Saturday, November 6th at the Osaka Prefectural Gym. So the Ideon Osaka Arena. So that's November 6th. Let's take a look at this card. So first match is Kosei Fujita and Ryohei Iwa. It's a tag team match. They're going up against Suzuki Gun's Doki and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. We got a 6-man tag match. Tiger Mask Tomaki Honma and Togi Makabe going up against Bullet Club's Jado, Gedo, and Tangaloa. So interesting matchup there. We got another 6-man tag. We got Master Wado, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Yuji Nagata teaming up to go up against LIJ's Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, and Sanada. We have the never openweight 6-man tag titles. Those will be defended at Power Struggle as Yoshihashi, Tomohiro Ishii, and Hiroki Goto will be making their 10th defense of these titles against Bullet Clubs or House of Tortures, Sho, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil. So we'll have to see how this new branch of Bullet Club, House of Torture, how they do in this match. They got a never openweight 6-man tag title shot. We got the KOPW 2021 trophy on the line as Toru Yano will defend against the Great O'Karn. And FYI, this is actually a no time limit match. So keep in mind of that. We'll have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship on the line as Robbie Eagles will make his 2nd defense of this title against El Desperado. This should be a really good match. We'll also see the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship defended as Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace, the current champion, will make his second defense against Kenta. Looking forward to that match. That match definitely I expect to be really good. We have the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship contract will be on the line as Kazuchika Okada, the current holder, will take on Tama Tonga, the man that pinned him in the G1 Climax tournament. So this should be very interesting. And I'm pretty sure this won't be the one and only time this contract gets defended. I mean, we got a while to go. Wrestle Kingdom is in January, so we still got a couple of months to go. So I'm sure it's going to be defended more than once. And then the main event, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, will be defended as the current champion, Shingo Takagi, will make his third defense against challenger Zack Sabre Jr. Now, remember, Zack Sabre Jr. Tapped out Shingo in the G1 Climax. So this ought to be a really good match. I have to see if Shingo gets his revenge. And, you know, anything can happen. But regardless, whoever is holding that contract by Wrestle Kingdom will get the title shot. So it's quite a stacked card. 9 matches there for a Power Struggle. So definitely quite a lot to look forward to. But, you know, they also got the road to Power Struggle. So there's going to be a lot of matches between tomorrow, October 24th, leading up to November 4th for the road tour. And then the actual event is November 6th. So a lot to look forward to there. And then don't forget, also in November is when the World Tag League and the Best of Super Juniors will start. So a lot to look forward to. But that is New Japan Pro Wrestling. And yeah, that is all for now. Let's move into some AEW. So, of course, this week was another week where we had AEW Rampage on Friday and AEW Dynamite on Saturday earlier. So let's actually go through Rampage. So had a pretty good Rampage. Of course, the Full Gear World Championship Eliminator Tournament, AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament kicked off. We had Orange Cassidy versus Powerhouse Hobbs in the first round. And, you know, for the most part, it was kind of back and forth. I mean, Powerhouse Hobbs had Hook in his corner, which, I mean, my whole problem with that is if you're going to book him as a beast, Powerhouse Hobbs, that is, having Hook in his corner, just, I don't know. It just doesn't give off the vibe of him being a beast with Hook in his corner. I mean, not that he necessarily needs him, but I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. But, I mean, it was back and forth. And, you know, of course, Hook tried to get involved as usual. And Matt Hardy was even in attendance, and he was hoping that Powerhouse Hobbs would get the best of Orange Cassidy, but that did not happen. And Orange Cassidy was able to roll up Powerhouse Hobbs to get the 1-2-3 and advances to the tournament. So Orange Cassidy advances to the next round, to the semifinals, which he will await the opponent, or he'll await the winner between Jon Moxley and Dark Order's Preston Vance, number 10. So he'll face against the winner of that match. Okay. We also had, I thought the AEW women's title was going to be on the line for this, but it wasn't. It was a non-title match. But we had Britt Baker going up against Dark Order's Anna Jay, and also that's Ty Conti's BFF. 1 second, get a swig of water. I gotta be honest, this was actually a good match. Anna Jay is definitely getting better and better. And despite Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, having Jamie Hayter and Rebel in her corner, Anna Jay, was by herself, which I don't understand why Ty Conti didn't come out to back her up from the start. But still, Anna Jay held her own. She actually held her own. And this was actually a good match. Probably one of Anna Jay's best matches, to be honest with you. And it was against the champion. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to get the victory. She did tap out to the lockjaw submission. And while Britt Baker wanted to do more damage and put her in the lockjaw again, that is when Ty Conti came down for the save, helped clear house. And she held up the AEW Women's Championship belt in the midst of that. And it's also been said that actually Ty Conti is going to get a shot at the AEW Women's Championship at Full Gear. So she'll get her shot against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, at Full Gear. So that should be really good. I think this is Ty Conti. This will be Ty Conti's second title shot for the AEW Women's World Championship, because I know she had one before against back when Hikaru Shida was the champion. But yeah, Ty Conti will get another shot, this time against Britt Baker. And then the main event was Pac versus Andrade El Idolo, round 2. That's right, round 2. These two, if you thought their first matchup was good, this easily tops their first meeting. These two flat out destroyed each other. One of the 6 spots of this match was when Andrade hit Pac with a rope hung DDT onto the apron. Like, that was a sick spot. But these two went back and forth. I mean, we even saw a brainbuster from the top turnbuckle. Like, these two are really laying it all out there, and it was just back and forth. But Pac was able to get the roll-up victory over Andrade El Idolo. Immediately after that victory, the lights go off. Malachi Black shows up and pretty much lays out Pac. And then both Andrade and Malachi Black both team up to start beating down Pac. And then Cody Rhodes ended up showing up to kind of even the odds and pretty much scared everybody off. But I think it's kind of interesting to see Malachi Black and Andrade aligned together in this segment. Of course, it makes me think about Zelina Vega, Zelina Vega that used to manage Andrade back in WWE. And of course, Malachi Black is married to Zelina Vega. So I thought that was pretty interesting to see. But okay, so got to look forward to the rubber match. Pac and Andrade El Idolo are 1-1. Of course, Andrade won the first meeting. Pac won the second meeting. So hopefully there'll be a rubber match and they can break the tie. I also wanted to they also announced the competitors for the women's TBS championship tournament bracket. So let's check out this bracket. So 4 competitors actually had buys in this tournament. So in the first round, you had so the buys were Chris Statlander, Nyla Rose, Jade Cargill, and Thunder Rosa. Now, of course, in the first round, you have matchups of Anna Jay and Jamie Hayter. You have the Bunny and Red Velvet. You have Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida, and Penelope Ford, Ruby Soho. There's a few things that I have wrong with this. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe this is going to be a good tournament, especially a lot better than the Queen's Crown tournament that WWE did. But here's my issue with this TBS Women's Championship tournament. One, you have former AEW Women's Champions in there, Hikaru Shida, Nyla Rose, and oh my goodness. Oh, you have those two as former champions, and you have Serena Deeb as former NWA Women's World Champion. So you got three former champions in there. Where's Riho? Why was Riho not added to this tournament? She's a former / first AEW Women's Champion. If they really wanted to do four buys, the 4 buys really should have been Riho, Shida, Nyla, and oh my goodness, Deeb. Those really should have been the buys. Deeb, Nyla, Shida, Riho. But Riho's not even in this tournament. So it's kind of a bummer. It's kind of a bummer. And secondly, why have 4 buys? Just throw 16 women in there. I mean, there's a great candidate of 4 women you could have added to this. I mean, why not legit Layla Hirsch? Why not Abaddon? You know what I mean? Like, Sky Blue. I mean, you could have added them to this list. You could have added Emi Sakura to this list. I would have thought legit Layla Hirsch would be a given. And Abaddon. Abaddon's been racking up victories like crazy. Why isn't Abaddon and legit Layla Hirsch in there? Why not Big Swole? Big Swole should have been in this tournament. Diamante. Like those are 4 ladies you could have put in this tournament. You could have done Diamante, Big Swole, Abaddon, Layla Hirsch. Bam. You could have had them in this tournament. So I do believe this tournament will still be great, but just the lack of certain ladies in this tournament, and then the fact that 4 ladies are getting buys, it kind of hurts it a little bit. Just a little bit. It hurts it a little bit. So that's just my take on that. I don't think it'll end up being that big of a deal. But it does kind of hurt a little bit. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, moving on to Dynamite. Now, Dynamite kicked off with another AEW World Championship Eliminator tournament match as the American Dragon Bryan Danielson took on the Natural Dustin Rhodes. I have to say, this was actually a good match. One of the older veterans, older guys going up against, a little bit one of the younger guys. Not a whole lot young. Well, actually, there's kind of a decent age gap between Bryan Danielson and Dustin Rhodes, but still, these two went back and forth. I mean, this was a great match. Dustin Rhodes, and I want to say this is probably his first time ever wrestling Bryan Danielson. if I remember correctly, or at least I don't know of any other time he's wrestled him, but did good. Did really, really good. This was back and forth. You would think this would go either way, but Bryan Danielson slapped on the guillotine, made Dustin Rhodes. I didn't see him tap, so it looked like he passed out, but the referee called for the bell. But the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, gets the victory by way of submission, a guillotine on Dustin Rhodes, and that was a great match. Great opening match for AEW Dynamite. And of course, you had a backstage segment with the Elite. Of course, they were talking smack to the Dark Order, mainly Hangman Adam Page. So there was that. FTR cut a promo about how they're hungry to get the AEW World Tag Team titles back and beat the Lucha Bros, who they beat for the AAA tag team titles. So definitely believe that they're going to have another match, this time with the AEW tag team titles on the line. It'll probably be at Full Gear. My guess is probably is going to be at Full Gear, but we'll see. But that's my guess. We had MJF come down to the ring. Well, first, Sting was invited to the ring by Tony Schiavone. And before Sting could get on and give an update about Darby Allin, out comes MJF. Of course, he's talking mad smack. And, that ended up leading to him, and with the help of Shawn Spears and Wardlow, beating down Sting and pretty much taunting Darby Allin in the process. And Sting just lost to the numbers game. That's pretty much mainly what happened. He lost to the numbers game, and MJF got his last bit of smack talk in towards Darby Allin. And then it was a pretty funny promo backstage with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, pretty much talking smack about Ty Conti and how the best that she's done in AEW is shake her booty. So I thought that promo was pretty funny. But like I said, it's been announced that Ty Conti will get her AEW Women's title shot at Full Gear against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Looking forward to that match. Definitely, hopefully Ty Conti will have a good match. I don't see her beating Britt Baker, but you know what? It should be a good match. Should be another good match. Okay. We kicked off the TBS Women's Championship Tournament with a first round match, Penelope Ford versus Ruby Soho. Now, of course, this match was pretty good. Of course, the bunny had to come down to be in Penelope Ford's corner. Had a lot of action between these two ladies. Of course, it was back and forth. And I tell you, it looked really close. Like Penelope Ford was about to have this match in the bag, but Ruby Soho showing her resilience. And then there was a segment of distraction from the bunny, slides in the brass knucks, but got kicked from out of the ring. And Ruby Soho was able to take advantage of that and pin Penelope Ford. I believe it was like a Gato clutch, and got the 1, 2, 3, and Ruby Soho advances. And it looked like the bunny and Penelope Ford were going to gang up and attack Ruby Soho, but then Red Velvet comes down to even the odds, and they both scare them off. So Miss Stir It Up, Stir It Up, Stir It Up, Stir It Up, Stir It Up evens the odds, standing by the side of Ruby Soho. But Ruby Soho advances. So because Ruby Soho advances, she will face Chris Statlander in the quarterfinals. Chris Statlander had the bye in that portion of the bracket. So we'll have Ruby Soho versus Chris Statlander. And honestly, that could go either way. That match could go either way. I don't know who I would pick in that scenario. Chris Statlander or Ruby Soho. That could really go either way, y'all. That could go either way. I might have to stay neutral for that one because that could go either way. But should be great. Definitely looking forward to that match. So we had another backstage segment with MJF and Wardlow, and Sean Spears is there. Wardlow confronts MJF as like, hey, what the heck was up with you pushing me in front of Sting last week? What's up with that? And in response, MJF is like, I understand you're mad, but you've been dealing with a lot, and I got you an accountability buddy. Sean Spears is your accountability buddy. So y'all get together, y'all, help get through this. I'm going to go take care of business. And I think this is pretty much what's going to help escalate more of the upcoming, sooner or later, face turn of Wardlow. I feel it's coming. I definitely feel it's coming. And this isn't the first time something like this has happened, involving MJF and Wardlow. So I think it's a matter of time before Wardlow turns on MJF and goes face. So it might be a while, but I think it's coming. I definitely think it's coming. So give it time, but it's coming. We had Anthony Green versus Bobby Fish. So Bobby Fish got some more action. He's been busy. He's definitely been busy since his AEW debut. So it's good to see him get a lot of action. Had a good match with Anthony Green. Finished him off with a buzzsaw kick. Gets the 1, 2, 3. After the match, looked like he was about to leave, but he decided he wanted to beat up on Anthony Green some more until CM Punk comes down to the ring, scares off Bobby Fish. And this is excellent because this is going to lead to, I believe it's going to be on next week's Dynamite, which will be back on Wednesdays. But we're going to get CM Punk versus Bobby Fish next week. I am looking so forward to that. Two greats like CM Punk and Bobby Fish, both pretty much similar ages. I think Bobby Fish might be a little bit older than or maybe a little bit younger. I'm curious. Let me look up how old CM Punk is. Okay, CM Punk is 42. Bobby Fish, I think, is 41. Oh, no. Bobby Fish is 44. So 2-year age difference. 2-year age difference. Yeah. So both similar ages, somewhat similar styles as well. But this should be a great match. Bobby Fish, CM Punk. Oh, man, that match is going to be fire. That match is going to be fire. I'm looking forward to that. That could be match of the night or even more. We'll see. But Bobby Fish, CM Punk, take my money. We got another AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament match. We got Lance Archer versus Eddie Kingston, and it started off pretty hot, which, of course, is understandable with these two. Started off brawling even before the bell could ring. Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer were going at it. And, of course, this was back and forth. There were moments where Lance Archer had the momentum, and then Eddie Kingston. Unfortunately, the ending was not good. Lance Archer went up the top rope, the top turnbuckle, to try to hit a moonsault on Eddie Kingston, and he landed on his head. pretty much pulled a Brock Lesnar, except it was a moonsault, not a shooting star press, but landed on his head. And we have to remember, Lance Archer's at least, what, 6'6", 6'7"? That's a big dude to be doing that. And just, unfortunately, he wasn't able to get his full body rotated, and he landed on his head. Of course, the doctor checked on him. The ref checked on him. He was able to finish the match, but pretty much all Eddie Kingston had to do was just roll him up, get the pin to end the match. So he was able to end the match, but, oh, man, not good for Lance Archer. It looked like he was still able to move, and they were able to get him to the back, but you can tell he had to at least have had a concussion. Hopefully, thankfully, not a broken neck or anything. I believe he confirmed on his Twitter that he is okay, but there's no telling how long he's going to be out. He says on his Twitter, and I quote, "Listen, we choose to do this and take our health and lives in our hands every night. I've done that move hundreds of times over my career, just under rotated. Could have been much worse. Thank you all at AEW for taking amazing care of me and protecting me. I'll be back." So, hey, what's up, Jack? Was the brawling good? I remember Seth Rollins brawling against someone and using his hands like he was whisking eggs. Who fights like that? It was awkward. Nah, this was a pretty good one. It just Lance Archer, Eddie Kingston. It was good. It just the ending was bad. That's all, because of the moonsault botch. But Lance Archer quoted on his Twitter that he is all right and that he'll be back. So it looks like he's going to be out for some time. But thankfully, it's nothing like a broken neck or anything like that. But it looks like a concussion. I mean, he did land on his head. So thankfully, it looks like a concussion and nothing worse than that. But, I mean, I give him props for being able to do a move like that. But it was just one of those nights where he just couldn't rotate completely and landed on his head. So prayers, speedy recovery for the Murder Hawk monster, Lance Archer. Somebody who I've met before. I've met during his time in New Japan Pro Wrestling when they came to North Carolina. I got a chance to actually meet him and D.H. Smith when they were the Killer Elite Squad. But yeah, I got a chance to meet them both. So Lance Archer, really cool guy, really cool, upstanding guy. So I really wish the best for him. Pray for his recovery because, heel, face, regardless of if it's somebody you like or dislike, it's never good to see somebody get injured. So hope he can bounce back ASAP and do what he does best in the ring. We had a segment with Dan Lambert, the Men of the Year, in the ring, being annoying as usual. Oh my goodness, I can't stand this group, especially Dan Lambert. I still can't stand the fact that Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are a tag team because they really should be singles wrestlers, but that's just me. But had a segment with them. Sammy Guevara comes out. They were jaw-jacking back and forth. And then we got ourselves a stipulation. So we got a match for the TNT title. Sammy Guevara versus All Ego Ethan Page. And there's a stipulation with this. If Ethan Page wins, not only does he win the title, but Sammy Guevara has to leave the inner circle forever. Has to leave forever. So there's that. But Sammy Guevara has a counter stipulation. If Sammy Guevara wins and retains, then they get to choose the three. They pretty much get to choose the three members of the America's top team that they want to beat up, that they want to face when they have their 10-man tag? Yeah, 10-man tag. So keep an eye out for that. In fact, Ron's punches were the worst I've ever seen, right below Ric Flair versus Hogan. Hogan was right on the corner. Flair climbed up and gave him probably 10 punches that didn't even caress Hulk Hogan. Camera angles didn't help, but Flair was phoning it up like crazy. Yeah, that sounds like something he would do. And usually, I don't know, usually Flair is usually pretty crisp with his punches from what I've seen in the past. But no, you make an interesting point. Make an interesting point and reference. So find that pretty funny. But yeah, interesting stipulation with this upcoming TNT Championship match, which I'm pretty sure Sammy Guevara is going to retain. I highly doubt that he would just lose the title like that. He's only defended it once, which was Bobby Fish. So I don't see him losing that title anytime soon. So, but we'll see what happens. The Men of the Year exited the ring, was going to go and beat down Sammy Guevara. Of course, he stood up to him, and then Proud and Powerful came out to even the odds. And yeah, this was, and also Jake Hager was there as well. So his Inner Circle buddies evened out the odds to battle back the Men of the Year, and Dan Lambert scared them off. But yeah, it looks like the 10-man tag is going to be at Full Gear. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but this 10-man tag is going to be at Full Gear. So got quite a bit to look forward to there. Let's see. Jack says he wasn't using the slaps. Those always connect and make a huge sound. Like the slaps or the knife edge chops, or do you actually mean slaps? Because I don't know. I don't remember Flair using many slaps, but yeah. Do you mean the knife edge chops or actually slaps? We had a really short match between Brandon Cutler and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. I was excited for Brandon Cutler to finally get back in the ring. It's been a while, but they didn't let him do his entrance. I wanted to hear the TPK. I actually like Brandon Cutler's TPK theme. I like that theme. Didn't play it. Didn't broadcast it. So it was a bummer. It was definitely a bummer. But like I said, this match did not last long. And Jungle Boy was able to submit Brandon Cutler to the snare trap. Let's see. Because the match was so quick, Jungle Boy got on the mic and was like, hey, this was a nice little warm-up, but hey, I can still go. So I want another match. Anybody else from the Elite want to come down and face me? Let's go. Sure enough, Adam Cole, baby, comes down and is like, yeah, I'll take you on. I'll take you on. Goes to the ring, gets knocked back by Jungle Boy. And then, of course, the Elite numbers get the best of him as the Young Bucks enter the ring and give him a double super kick. And then they pretty much own Jungle Boy the rest of the segment, to the point where it led to a combination of a BTE trigger, the last shot, and throwing Jungle Boy off the ramp onto a table, breaking the table. Whew, poor Jungle Boy. And of course, the Elite took out Luchasaurus last week. which is why Jungle Boy didn't have any backup for this segment. But man, they jacked up Jungle Boy. But yeah. And then we had the main event as we got Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black 3. So, of course, the first two matchups, Malachi Black won. Oh, Jack says, sorry, it was Hogan phoning it and punching, but Flair didn't even move his head. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Interesting. Because I know Hogan punches are very unique. You can definitely look at Hogan throwing a punch and how different it is compared to other wrestlers throwing a punch. He has very unique punches, I noticed, from Hulk Hogan back in the days. But yeah, you could definitely tell a Hogan punch. It's on the WWE Network? Oh, okay. Right on. Or do you it was on Raw. Oh, okay. Right on. Fair enough. So main event was Cody Rhodes, Malachi Black for the third time. It was brutal. It was very, very brutal. A lot was involved. We saw tables get involved. We saw Arn Anderson even get involved. Andrade. It was crazy. It was a crazy match. Both Cody and Malachi bloodied up. So Andrade showed himself. His assistant tried to attack. Arn Anderson lays him out with the signature Arn Anderson double A spine buster. And then he got missed in the face from Malachi Black. That black mist. Ugh. It didn't seem like he got a whole lot of it in his face, just mainly across his forehead. Why does Cody look like a wedding cake figure? He looks like he dips himself in wax every single day. I mean, it looked like he got sort of a tan. Like some days it looks like he has this like crazy tan, and other times he looks like a completely lighter. But yeah, Cody Rhodes is an interesting fella. I've met him once before back in ROH, but he's quite a character. But I met him at one of the meet and greets with ROH, and of course this was back when he was ROH world champion. But this match was brutal. Did he have any surgery done? His face looks too chiseled to be normal. I mean, you never know. He had a lot of time off, so it's possible. You know, maybe there was something that we didn't see that they broadcasted during Rose to the Top. Maybe that actually happened. Oh, that's funny. But ultimately, Cody Rhodes was the victor after 2 crossroads. Well, actually, he did 3 crossroads. Malachi kicked out of the first one, and then he did 2 more later and was able to get the victory. He did get hit with the black mass, but of course, he fell towards the ropes and almost out of the ring that he couldn't really capitalize and cover him. But yeah, despite being bloodied up, Cody Rhodes wins the 3rd match against Malachi Black. I'm pretty sure this rivalry isn't over. But an interesting thing, a lot of people were booing Cody and were not happy about him winning. which, I mean, honestly, I didn't think Cody was going to lose 3 times to Malachi Black. I mean, Malachi Black's been getting it in since his AEW debut. It was a matter of time before he was going to suffer his first loss. And this doesn't hurt him. This definitely doesn't hurt him. Malachi Black has been doing great in AEW, and this doesn't hurt him. This doesn't hurt him at all. But as a matter of fact, correction. He threw in a J driller. Well, I guess it's kind of a J driller, but that double underhook pile driver, I forgot. He used that on Malachi Black. After a couple of crossroads, he used that on Malachi Black to do him in. So, correction there. Hey, do you know what happened between Russo and McMahon this week? I think it was on Monday. It seems Russo will never work again with WWE. I think McMahon contacted him. No, I haven't. I haven't heard about that actually. What went down? Any details you remember? Because that's interesting. Vince Russo. Oh man. But yeah, that was the main event of AEW. So another good week for AEW. 2 tournaments kicked off for AEW as the road to Full Gear continues. Okay. Now we go into WWE. Like I said, I've already covered Crown Jewel, so be sure to check out the video. Should be archived that I did on looking back at Crown Jewel. But Raw, looking at Raw, I mean, we had the semifinal matches for the Queen's Crown and King of the Ring tournament, which of course Xavier Woods ended up winning King of the Ring. Zelina Vega ended up winning Queen's Crown. So we'll just skip through that. Once again, Austin Theory beat Jeff Hardy, but Jeff Hardy got the last laugh, and he ended up taking a selfie with Austin Theory. And pretty much that's the last time we see Jeff Hardy on Raw. That was his last match for Raw because he got drafted to SmackDown. But I think the word is that he's going to be turning heel. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for that. We may be seeing Willow on SmackDown. He talked about it on a live stream, but didn't give details. Just said that the door's closed forever. He'll share the details when he's ready. Something like that. Ooh. Uh-oh. That sounds serious. Sounds like a big bridge got burned between McMahon and Vince Russo. Wow. That sounds like a big deal. Perhaps a big deal. But a big bridge burned. Interesting. Spicy, bro. Yeah, it sounds like it. I might have to keep an eye out on that. See what that's all about, because that's big. That's a big deal. You had Mansoor defeat Cedric Alexander. Of course, Mustafa Ali had to talk more smack. Vince versus Vince pay-per-view, bro. Book it. Oh, Vince versus Vince. Oh, man. I'd have to stay neutral on that. I don't know who I'd pick in that situation. I'm not a fan of both of them. I'd have to stay neutral on that. I don't know. Who would you pick, Jack? Who would you pick? Stephanie on a pole. No Viagra needed. Oh my God. Wow. That's bad. That is so bad. That's messed up. That is so messed up. Oh man. Let's see. We had Drew McIntyre and Big E going up against Mr. Ziggles and Robert Roode again. So the tale of the rematch, a WWE favorite. You had the Street Profits and RK Bro. They took on each other, but of course, AJ Styles and Omos had to interfere, and just that whole match got thrown out. Of course, we know that Doudrop beat Shayna Baszler. And of course, that's Shayna's last match on Raw as she's making the jump to SmackDown because she got drafted to SmackDown. Finn Balor defeated Mace. And we had the main event of Bianca Belair getting a Raw Women's Championship title shot against Charlotte Flair, which honestly, great match, dumb ending. Really great match between these two ladies and was perfect for the Raw main event, but then it had that craptacular ending with Charlotte Flair intentionally getting disqualified. Russo's not bad. He seems pretty nice with the fans. He should cool it with the bro. I remember listening to him talking about his wife and telling her bro. Really? That's just weird. Telling her wife bro. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that's really weird. But so even his Christian show had an instance where he was praying and saying bro to the man above. I bet him and Riddle would probably be best friends. But yeah, the Bianca Belair Charlotte Flair match ending. When that happened, I knew right then and there it's probably going to end up sparking a belt exchange because I didn't think Charlotte was going to get added to the Crown Jewel card. So when they did that, it's like, well, she's keeping the title. Looks like it's going to be a belt switch. And sure enough, that happened on SmackDown, which I'll get to that in a moment. Let's go to NXT. NXT. So Charlotte's looking prettier. I mean, to be honest, I've never thought she was ugly or, even when she had the mole, I always thought she was all right. I wouldn't put her over Bayley or Sasha or Asuka, but, I never thought Charlotte was a bad looking woman. I never thought she was a bad looking woman. But I do see what you mean. I see what you mean. But she for me, she would never top Asuka or Sasha or Bayley or Becky Lynch. And I've met Becky Lynch. So she's my Irish crush. I've always liked Becky Lynch. So NXT, we had an interesting segment with Trick Williams and the new NXT North American champion, Carmelo Hayes. They got on the mic, talked some smack. Then Johnny Gargano came down and pretty much showed his interest in taking on Carmelo Hayes for that North American title. And, things were kind of heating up. And then Dexter Lumis got involved and tried to silence Carmelo Hayes, but they were able to escape harm. And of course, crazy enough, Johnny Gargano, Dexter Lumis, thumbs up on the same page. So I think that's pretty interesting. Get Johnny Gargano back in the North American title picture. Just the way I see it, he's doing whatever he can to stay on NXT. Bayley is miles above Charlotte with the whole girl next door thing with the huge bubbly cake. I usually like to call her lowrider, if you know what I mean. But yes, I agree. Speaking of Bayley, I don't know what her status is, but as I've said before, I would love to see her come back as perhaps the number 30 entrant into the Royal Rumble. And I would love to see her win next year's Royal Rumble. Don't know if she'll be back in time for that, but I think that'd be pretty cool. See Bayley get a Royal Rumble victory on her resume. I think that'd be cool. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully she can return in time. Let's see. We had Odyssey Jones versus Andre Chase, which Odyssey Jones was able to get revenge for last time. Of course, Andre Chase had interfered in his match. So definitely good to see Odyssey Jones get some revenge. Ate a big old splash. Had death from above. Reminded me a lot of Mark Henry or even Big Viscera, but was able to defeat Andre Chase. And like I said, I will always know him as Harlem Bravado, but I don't like this gimmick. I really don't like his gimmick. We had an interesting segment with Joe Gacy and Garland. It looks like they were behind a prison plexiglass sort of thing. And word is it's looking like Joe Gacy is going to, I guess, be the new Bray Wyatt. That's the vibe that I'm getting for what they're doing with his gimmick. And I guess maybe Garland's going to be part of the new Wyatt family or whatnot, or something similar to that. That's the vibe I get. I'd moonsault quite a few divas. None of them moved out of the way. What if they move out? What if they move out of the way? You know, you might want to make sure they don't move out the way. Oh man. But yeah, weird gimmick. We had Imperium take on the Creed brothers, which interesting matchup. Two heel tag teams going at it, and it was actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good, but we had a segment during this match where Ikemenjiro and Kushida brawled with the other members of Diamond Mine, and Imperium were able to take advantage to get the victory and defeat the Creed brothers. So they beat the Creed brothers, and of course they stood tall in the ring as Kushida and Ikemenjiro brawled with Diamond Mine. But then here comes MSK all night, all day, ambushing Imperium. And once again, the fans are booing MSK. I guess they want an MSK heel turn, but yeah, fans are booing MSK. I don't know why personally, but it is what it is, I guess. I'd have to sell the move to get them over. Mine would definitely be over for all the wrong reasons. You naughty man, Jack. You naughty man. But it looks like this is gonna lead to, which I think it's been made official that we're gonna get MSK defending the NXT Tag Team titles at Halloween Havoc versus Imperium. So Imperium is gonna get a tag title shot. So that should be good. That should definitely be good. Wow. Okay, that's a little wrong. That's a little wrong. Wow. Yeah. That's a little raw, dude. Cora Jade versus Elektra Lopez with a really, really surprising outcome. I wonder how many wrestlers truly use protective gear. I would hope as many as possible. I mean, you know how badly botches can be. So I would hope as much as possible, or as much as they're comfortable with, where they're protected. Because, botches can happen, but none of them use mouth guards. That's for sure. I mean, there's a couple of people that use mouth guards. Mako Satomura, Shayna Baszler, Bobby Fish. I believe Kyle O'Reilly. There's some that use mouth guards. Yeah, there's a handful that use mouth guards. Alex Shelley. Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, there's a handful of them. Mouth guards, mouthpieces. There's a decent number. There's at least a decent number. I think Josh Alexander wears one as well. But there's a handful. Probably not as many as there should be, but there's a handful. But definitely not as many as there should be. But yeah, Cora Jade, Elektra Lopez. Cora Jade was getting dominated throughout this match. But Cora Jade ends up getting a roll-up victory. And yeah, Cora Jade gives Elektra Lopez her first loss. Because since she's been wrestling, she hasn't lost yet in NXT. And Cora Jade gives her first loss. Now, I know before this match, Cora Jade had a little vignette leading up to this. So, I don't know. It looks like they may be giving Cora Jade a little push. Get her some more matches, some more notoriety, and give her a nice little push. That should be interesting. I can dig it. So, we had the triple threat match between the ladies to decide who will spin the wheel to make the deal for their upcoming triple threat women's tag team title match. So this triple threat match came down to Io Shirai versus Persia Piranha versus JC Jane. Unfortunately, this was another match that involved serious injury, as the action spilled to the outside and JC Jane went to do a suicide dive without a running start. You just don't do top rope dives, like outside dives, running, or suicide dives like that without a running start. You got to do a running start. But she got hurt, and unfortunately, she was not able to finish the match. Therefore, it came down to Persia Piranha versus Io Shirai to finish up the match. It was definitely back and forth. Persia Piranha, of course, is Indy Hartwell's tag team partner for that match at Halloween Havoc. Had some good moments of offense against Io Shirai, but just was not going to be able to topple one of the best wrestlers in the world, and Io Shirai. Io Shirai was able to get the top rope moonsault to finish her off. Therefore, Io Shirai gets to spin the wheel and make the deal. Spun the wheel, and it turns out that their triple threat match for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles at Halloween Havoc will be a Stairway to Hell ladder match. So this will be decided in a ladder match. Something that Io Shirai, very familiar with, has had some success with. So yeah, Zoe and Io, JC Jane and Gigi Dolan. That is, if JC Jane, we'll have to see how bad her injury is. Hopefully it's not bad enough to where it takes her out. But then again, Halloween Havoc is next week. So, I mean, my guess is if JC Jane can't compete next week, Mandy Rose will take her place. That way, they'll still have the tag team match. I don't think they'll just, well, no, because Mandy Rose has the women's NXT women's title match against Raquel Gonzalez. So, well, dang. So either Mandy Rose has to do double duty, or they'll just have to cut one tag team out, and it'll be Indy Hartwell and Persia Piranha against Zoe and Io for the tag titles in this ladder match. So we'll see. We'll see how JC Jane does, if she's good to go for this match. Hopefully she is, because I would love to still have the title match, but hopefully it goes well and they can still compete. What's the popularity status between Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks? Bianca looks way better and the best bet as the main figure in Black women in wrestling if Sasha stepped down today. Bianca Belair has gotten very, very popular. She's definitely growing to be a top face, especially for the women. I mean, she's got some good competition with Sasha, with Becky Lynch, with Charlotte, but she has established herself well, especially being someone that won the Royal Rumble, won the SmackDown Women's title at the main event of WrestleMania, where it was two sisters in the main event. So I would say her popularity status has definitely risen up quite a lot. Quite a lot. Don't know how soon she may get the title or a title back on her, but Bianca Belair, I can definitely see being a face for at least a long time, for maybe at least another year or so, maybe a little less. But I could see Bianca Belair being the next top face in the women's division on WWE. I can definitely see that happening. And it looks like it's going to be going that way, because she's got the talent, she's got the look, she's got the mic skills. They've been getting better and better, and she's doing her thing. She's doing her thing. But it'll be interesting to see what happens when like Bayley comes back and Asuka comes back. Really see how she does, because I don't even think she's faced off against Asuka, and Asuka was a Raw talent when she got injured. I would love to see that match, see how that goes, because I don't think that's a match that's happened. Bianca Belair, Asuka, that could be good. Let's see. We had Tony D'Angelo versus Ru Feng, so showcasing more of Tony D'Angelo. I believe this is his second match since his debut. Not really a fan of him, especially his finisher. I mean, pretty much does a belly to belly into a spinning fisherman neck breaker. Could be better finisher, but I don't know. I'm not really feeling this character, to be honest with you. Not feeling this character. We had a segment, we had a match, a tag team match, Legado del Fantasma versus Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs, which they got the preemptive attack on Briggs and Jensen early before the match started. And even though Brooks and Briggs fought back, was not enough for them to make a comeback and defeat Legado del Fantasma, as Raul Mendoza and Walking Wild were able to get the victory and defeat Brooks and Briggs. Personally, I still really believe Josh Briggs needs to be a single star in NXT 2.0. I mean, the dude's a former Evolve champion. He's a former Evolve champion. And he's a great talent. They need to really make him singles wrestler. Like, him in a tag team makes no sense to me, personally. That's just my take on it, but I can't see him in a tag team. I can't. I just can't. We had Rhea Ripley versus Bayley. Short hair, big tall fight. Book it. That would be an interesting matchup of styles there. Rhea Ripley, Bayley. Yeah, a matchup that definitely hasn't happened yet. So I could dig that. Could definitely dig that matchup. I'd book it. So, Big Tail. I'm sorry, Big Tail. Wow. Really? Wow. Big Tail. Yeah, yowzas. Let Vince Russo book it. I mean, he probably would. He probably would if given the opportunity. He probably would. Probably would book it well and not be like a minute or two match like a lot of these Queen's Crown tournament matches were. We had a singles match where the winner would be the host of Halloween Havoc. We had LA Knight versus Grayson Waller, which, I mean, this match wasn't that long, and it was obvious that LA Knight was going to win this match. Although, if you ask me personally, I wouldn't have mind bringing Shotzi Blackheart back just so she could host Halloween Havoc. I think she did an excellent job in last year's Halloween Havoc as the host. And with her being a big horror fan, it makes sense. Why not let her host again? You know? Why not let her host again? Shoot, I could have really been down for that. Rhea can really sell the tough but beautiful look. The outfits are great. Speaking of which, did you hear about Rhea Ripley? How her bag got taken, and I think she had misplaced her bag and it got stolen or something like that. But it had the one half of the women's tag titles, and I believe she had to borrow a pair of Damian Priest's pants when she last competed. She had to borrow a pair of his pants. That's what I've heard, that she had to borrow a pair of Damian Priest's pants, which, I mean, you know, it makes sense. They both have similar styles of clothing for their ring gear, so it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. So that I feel like that was a good fix for her to borrow a pair of the Archer of Infamy's pants. So pretty neat. And then we had the main event where they should do a story around the stolen gear. I know there's a small article about it, but I haven't heard any updates from it. So I don't know if she ever got her stuff back or what. I hope she has, but yeah, I haven't heard any update about that. Main event was the Grizzled Young Veterans going up against NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa and Bron Breakker. Now, of course, you know, Grizzled Young Veterans, you know, even though I don't like this tag team, I mean, they still have great chemistry, and there's still, you know, there's still some friction between Bron Breakker and Tommaso Ciampa, because, I mean, of course, they have a title match next week at on Halloween Havoc. But thankfully, even in the midst of potentially their tag team imploding, they were still able to get the victory and defeat the Grizzled Young Veterans. Bron Breakker put the match away with a power slam to seal the deal for him and Tommaso Ciampa. But, of course, you know, he had to take one last shot at Tommaso Ciampa leading up to their title match at Halloween Havoc. So, should be good. Should be really good. I think they're going to really do a good job of helping put Braun Breaker over. I don't see him beating Tommaso Ciampa, but he'll have a good showing. I think he'll have a good showing. So that was NXT. Looking at NXT UK. So Xia Brookside once again loses another match, this time against Aaliyah James. So more and more, they're stirring the pot on Xia Brookside. After the match, Aaliyah James went for a handshake, got slapped away. I think we're going to be getting a Xia Brookside heel turn very soon. Very soon. But I feel like if they're going to do it, they're going to need to change her music. Going to need to change her music as well. So, let's see. I book a match around that. Let's say one unbearable diva wants to make Rhea look ridiculous without all the makeup, letter, and spikes, only to get herself over by beating out of that brat. Interesting breakdown. Speaking of which, did you ever see the segment? They did a special WWE segment where they had a interview, a no makeup interview that had it was Ruby Riott, it was Bianca Belair, it was Dana Brooke, Carmella, Rhea Ripley, and Io Shirai. You know what you mentioned, and without the makeup, they actually had a no makeup sort of interview segment with those ladies. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Which, I mean, you know, Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai. I definitely like Io Shirai without makeup. I think she's a natural beauty, but you can definitely tell the difference with her and Dana and I don't know, Ruby Soho. I mean, I see a lot of the tattoos kind of overshadowing her overall look because I mean she's tatted up quite a bit. Rhea is tatted up quite a bit too. Rhea looks scrumptious. The green-haired girl too. Oh, you're talking about Shotzi Blackheart, who I've met in person. Shotzi's really cool. Another woman that's very, very tatted up, and also is a big horror fan. Which it makes sense being, you know, her overall look, her hosting Halloween Havoc. But yeah, Shotzi, she's really cool. She's actually Filipina American. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I knew she was some form of Asian, but I didn't know it was Filipina. So I thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, Shotzi's pretty cool. Ruby has a little skin in her tattoos. This is true. I got my first taste of Ruby back when she was with Chikara, when she was Heidi Lovelace, which she's a big indie superstar. But yeah, I first saw her live at Chikara. And yeah, Ruby's definitely the real deal. Definitely the real deal. But let's see. We had a tag team match, Symbiosis versus Jack Stars and Dave Mastiff, which this ended in a DQ. Chikara ended badly, right? Unfortunately, yeah, it did end badly. Isn't it called something else now? Oh no, the promotion is no longer going. After what went down with Mike Quackenbush and a couple of others, yeah, that promotion, yeah, that's no longer going. So it was unfortunate because it was a very family-friendly promotion. I was a big Chikara fan. I've been to a handful of Chikara shows. So it was very unfortunate the way things ended with Chikara. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, as far as I know, it's no longer a promotion. So, um, Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter got involved with this, and of course, Pretty Deadly as well. But ultimately, send it into disqualification. But if anything, this puts spotlight on these teams because Pretty Deadly is going to need another group of challengers for their NXT UK tag team titles. The game was cool, action arcade wrestling. I've never played it, but I've heard good things about it, but I've never played it. So good, nice confirmation on that. I may have to keep that in mind. We had a Supernova 11 sessions, Noam Dar, Shaw Samuels, and also we had Tyler Bate and Trent Seven, Mustache Mountain. And I mean, it was obvious this was going to lead into a brawl. Well, not really a brawl, but Noam Dar sucker punched and pretty much got Tyler Bate and Trent Seven all fueled up. And but I mean, I figured something was going to happen with this segment because I mean the two hate each other. The two hate each other. So a brawl would have been nice. I mean, it would have been nice. But a sucker punch, I guess, will get the job done. But of course, this is leading up to Noam Dar versus Tyler Bate for the Heritage Cup trophy. Does Noam Dar finally do it? Does he finally win the big one? Remember, Noam Dar has yet to win a championship or any sort of title in the WWE. So will this be the time Noam Dar finally does it and becomes Heritage Cup champion? I think it's possible. I think it's possible. I feel like he needs a good championship, a heel championship run. I think he's due. I think he's definitely due for one. But we'll see what happens. And then we had the main event was Jordan Devlin versus Joe Coffey. And of course, we've had this storyline going for quite a bit with Gallus and Jordan Devlin. Lately they've kind of gotten the best of Jordan Devlin, but pardon me, the Irish Ace has bounced back and not only starting out ambushing Joe Coffey, but with everything that went on in the match, he would eventually beat Joe Coffey, hitting the Devlin side, and the Irish Ace finishes off NXT UK with the victory over Joe Coffey. Jordan Devlin with the Devlin side. But pretty decent NXT UK. Nothing too crazy, but nothing trash or anything like that. So I was cool with it. And then we had Smackdown. This was the new era of Smackdown post-draft because all the draft picks and everything kick in after Crown Jewel, which passed on Thursday. I got to be honest with y'all. This was a trash Smackdown. To kick off this new season of Smackdown post-draft, this was a bad Smackdown. Really, really bad. Of course, started off with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Come down to the ring. Of course, Roman Reigns got on Paul Heyman's case about how he should have handed him the title during their match at Crown Jewel, which that didn't happen. And pretty much Roman Reigns held SmackDown hostage until Brock Lesnar would come out and face him. Took a little while, took a commercial break, came back, and Brock Lesnar did eventually come out. He came out. Him and Roman Reigns brawled. I wonder if they'll ever change the name SmackDown. I doubt it. I mean, they've been rocking with it this long. I'm sure they're gonna. I mean, they might alter it if they move to a different day, but I mean, it's one of their main roster shows, so I don't see them changing that anytime. It's one of the best terms they have, though. Vince has that silly list of forbidden terms. Oh, yeah. Like war, which I still don't understand. Because you would think if he had an issue with war, that even with NXT, we wouldn't have had the War Raiders. We would have had a Viking Raiders ever since NXT. But no, as soon as they came to the main roster, well, first, they were the Viking Experience, which was dumb. And then eventually changed to Viking Raiders. But they're in the PG era now. So even though it's gotten a little edgy, but still, I guess, deemed PG era. It's weird. It's really weird. Anyways, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar brawled. The Usos tried to intervene, but that didn't last long. They got destroyed. And then other wrestlers and officials tried to come down to stop the terror that Brock Lesnar was causing, and he was just taking folks out left and right. It got so bad to the point where Adam Pearce came out and suspended Brock Lesnar indefinitely. Viking Experience sounds like a Norwegian cruise. Wow, super lame. Oh yeah, dude, it was terrible. It was so terrible when they made their main roster debut as the Viking Experience. Oh man, it was so bad. It was so bad. I mean, of course, I've always known them as War Machine back when they were on ROH, but yeah, Viking Experience was just yuck. But thankfully, they did eventually change it. I mean, Viking Raiders is better, but they'll always be War Machine to me. So Adam Pearce gives Brock Lesnar indefinite suspension. Brock comes down and is like, I didn't hear you. What you say? What you say? I didn't hear you. Of course, goes in, F5s the crap out of Adam Pearce, and then pretty much walks out. But yeah, Brock Lesnar suspended indefinitely. Not surprised how that went down. I figured that was going to happen. Anyway, we had a segment that led to a match. Drew McIntyre was backstage, was like, first day on the job, SmackDown. Going to go down to the ring. I'm going to issue an open challenge. I came to fight. I want to beat the crap out of somebody. So, hey, any takers? And sure enough, Sami Zayn was that taker who also has new theme music. So he's got new entrance music. So he has the ohs at the beginning, but then it transitions to his new theme. So Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. We got that. It was an okay match. It was all right. Of course, Sami Zayn was kind of mocking Drew McIntyre for a bit, and it looked like he was going to hit him with a haluva kick, but he ate a claymore. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre gets the victory. I get that you're dumbing the names for the sake of PG, but come on. This is a show about people bad-mouthing, kind of, and beating each other. No, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. That's a very fair point. And I'm thinking part of it may have to do with, when the Viking Raiders came out and they would go, war, 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 war. That might have played a role in changing the name. I just thought it was interesting that they didn't consider doing that in NXT. But my guess is that's probably why they changed the name, with the war, war, war chants. So that's my guess. So we had the official coronation of the King of the Ring, King Xavier Woods. Nothing special really happened. I mean, Kofi Kingston announced him, and he got his cape on, his crown on, the scepter, and Xavier Woods just danced. I mean, it's a face King of the Ring. This tournament's mostly known for heels winning King of the Ring, but we have a face this time. This was kind of a bummer because they did a coronation for Xavier Woods, but they didn't do one for Zelina Vega, who won the Queen's Crown tournament, the first ever Queen's Crown tournament. So I just thought that was really sad that Zelina Vega couldn't have her moment on SmackDown, either along with Xavier Woods or in a different segment. So another reason why the SmackDown was trash. So you have your two tournament winners, and you only do the coronation for the King of the Ring, but not for the ladies. And it's just sad too, because the Queen's Crown tournament was ran so badly because the matches were super duper short. They were like less than 3 minutes, like 2 minutes long. So I don't know. WWE and this women's division and tournaments, they do not do a good job of. So I don't think they should ever do another women's tournament. And the rematch bug strikes again as we got yet another rematch from Crown Jewel. Mansoor, Mustafa Ali. And once again, Mustafa Ali eats the pin, and Mansoor victorious once again. It's really sad to see Mustafa Ali just lose back and forth like this. His heel run to me hasn't really been that good, because he hasn't really been elevated to anything. Like, the closest that he came was, Money in the Bank and WrestleMania when he had the Cruiserweight title match against Cedric Alexander. But I really want to see Mustafa elevated into at least a mid-card match for a title. I mean, Intercontinental, United States, something. Because they're really wasting Mustafa Ali. Did they go to Saudi Arabia? Did the women go? Yes. So, yeah. Crown Jewel was in Saudi Arabia. They had the SmackDown Women's Championship match in Saudi Arabia, the triple threat of Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch. They also had the finals of the Queen's Crown tournament, which was Zelina Vega versus Doudrop. And of course, they had to wear full covering gear, t-shirts, full covering gear, no skin showed, because that's the rules for the women in Saudi Arabia. So the referees had to wear long sleeves with their stripes. So that's how it was. But they had two women's matches there, and they had the refs as well. But everybody fully covered. Hit Row made their main roster debut. Of course, it looks like they debuted as faces, and they just flat out wrecked a local tag team. It was a fairly quick squash match, but dudes too, no muscle. Oh, no, just the women, Just the women. The men wore whatever they wanted, but nah, the women had to cover up. They had to cover up. So just the women. So the tag team match was Top Dollar and Swerve, Isaiah Swerve Scott, squashing this local tag team. So Hit Row making their debut. It was quick. Welcome to Smackdown. That's all I can say. I really hope to see Swerve, at least Swerve, successful. I doubt it, but we'll see. We had a championship contenders match as we had Happy Corbin against Shinsuke Nakamura. Of course, Shinsuke had Rick Boogs in his corner. Happy Corbin had Madcap Moss in his corner. This match was fairly back and forth, but with Madcap Moss being the deciding factor in attacking Rick Boogs. Now, of course, Shinsuke did take out Madcap Moss, but as he got back in the ring, pretty much Happy Corbin took advantage and was able to hit him with the end of days and get the 1-2-3 pin. So with that happening, it's safe to say that Happy Corbin will be getting an Intercontinental title shot against Shinsuke Nakamura. So I'm sure that's going to happen probably next week, I would think. Probably going to have that match next week. But it was a championship contenders match, so next meeting will be a title shot. And then let's see. Oh, I also wanted to mention that there was a segment backstage with Naomi, Sonya Deville. Of course, Naomi wants Sonya one-on-one. And, of course, Sonya ain't having it. So they're stirring the pot more and more with Sonya and Naomi. Like I said, I still feel like Naomi needs to join the bloodline. It'll be better for her. She needs to join the bloodline. So, needs to happen. And then the final segment of the evening was the belt exchange between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Really, really dumb. Not to mention, the segment went off script. And apparently it's been said that there was a backstage altercation between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch because of how this segment went. So word is what was supposed to happen was Becky was supposed to grab Charlotte's Raw Women's Championship and brag about Becky 2 belts holding, in front of her. But instead, she threw the title at Charlotte, which was not supposed to happen, because apparently Becky was supposed to have both belts, and then Sonya was going to order Becky to give Charlotte the SmackDown title, but it didn't go down that way, and Becky ended up, throwing the title and just walking out. Sasha Banks did come out and pretty much, taunted Charlotte Flair and such, and Becky won't having it, so Becky's like, I'm out. Deuces. I'll see everybody on Raw. Y'all figured this out. So we had the last segment that ended with Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks pretty much going back and forth. But honestly, this whole segment was dumb. For this being the final segment of the night, a belt exchange. And the crazy thing is, so technically, with this belt exchange, doesn't this make Charlotte a 13-time champion now? She switched the Raw belt and got the SmackDown belt. I would say this makes her a 13-time champion now. So she would be 3 away from tying her father. And you know it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Bam, already we're at 13 times now. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. But yeah, SmackDown, not really that good. I mean, they had a few backstage segments with some of the stars that, been drafted to SmackDown. Like they had Aaliyah, they had Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, they had Sheamus. So, I mean, they had a couple of folks do quick promos, but nothing special, y'all. Nothing really special. It was a bad SmackDown. Overall, it was a bad SmackDown. Okay, so to finish off this live stream, I'm going to go into the top 10 out of 150 PWI's best female wrestlers of 2021. So I've actually gotten to look at the full 150 list. I did subscribe and purchase a digital copy of the issue, and I was kind of disappointed with a few, but I guess it was expected. If it were up to me, I'd have some mud fights and skimpy stuff like WCW. Becky Lynch in a mud fight. Yes, please. Really, dude? You might as well bring back the bra and panty matches then. Like, come on. Come on. Nah. Like, if we had that, then we would probably never have good women matches again. I mean, you might shoot, if you're going to do that, you might as well bring back bra and panty matches, which, I mean, they're entertaining, but I mean, I don't know. Do you really want that? Do you really want that over a good quality singles match? But anyway, let's look at this list. Number 10, Raquel Gonzalez. Honestly, I thought she was pretty high. She wasn't ranked last year, and this year she's number 10. I would not have put her that high, but yeah, so let's see. Yeah, I don't think I would have put her that high. Okay, we'll do the same with the dudes. It's fair. No, ew. No way, ew. Because you're probably going to say something like, what, they're going to wear Speedos or something like that? So Raquel Gonzalez is number 10. Number 9 was Stardom's Tam Nakano. Tam Nakano was not ranked either, so they put her at number 9. Dang, pretty high there. But it's good to see that she made the list. Does she deserve to be on the list? Definitely. As high as number 9, I don't know. I'm cool with her being on this list. Number 8 was Io Shirai, the genius of the sky. Last year, she was ranked number 9, so she bumped up one spot. I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. But yeah, she bumped up one spot. By the way, being a Christian, you should review matches from that Christian promotion he had. Christian promotion. Which one? What's the name of it? Because I'm actually not familiar. Ring of Glory? I've never heard of it, actually. I might have to look that up. I've never even heard of it. Huh. I might have to look that up now. Thanks for sharing. Never even heard of that. Let's see. Io Shirai was number 8. Number 7, my girl, Shuri, who's also in Stardom. Last year she was ranked 78, so she really moved up high. I love Shuri. I would love to meet Shuri. Of course, ex-UFC fighter, former Queen of Pancrase champion, half Japanese, half Filipina. Beautiful, beautiful woman. Has the perfect shoulders. I love her style. Great striker, great submission, MMA background. She has it all. And I cannot wait to see her dethrone Utami Hayashishita for the World of Stardom Championship in December. I will be marking out like crazy for that. I love Shuri. I especially love when she was a tag team champion with her best friend, Hikaru Shida. I would love to see her come to AEW and they team up if they ever made women's tag team titles in AEW. Oh, man, sign me up. But yeah, love Shuri. Number 6, Sasha Banks, the boss. So Sasha Banks last year was number 5, so she got bumped down a rank, but still in the top 10. But Ring of Glory was done in a church, so dudes had to be covered up, which made total sense. Violence, yes. Nakedness, absolutely not. They had the matches inside a church? I don't know if I agree with that. Wrestling matches in the house of the Lord? Ugh. I don't know if I agree with that. Church is supposed to be a place of worship. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I always think a church was supposed to be a place of worship. But that's just me. See, Sasha Banks was number 6. Number 5, Thunder Rosa. Last year she was ranked 14, so she bumped up in the ranks as well. So Thunder Rosa in the top 5. She's been killing it in AEW. So doesn't surprise me. I think the pastor there was a commentator or a wrestler, something like that. Really? Interesting. Pastor / wrestler / commentator. Or one of the two. Wow. That's an interesting combo. Get on the commentary, preach the word, Nick, the following day. Interesting transition. Pardon me. Number 4, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Last year, she was ranked 22. So that's a big jump for her. But, as pretty much the top female heel in AEW and the current champion, it makes sense that her rank got boosted up quite a bit. And I feel like she'll have a long title run, definitely going into next year. I don't know if she'll have a year-long run, but I expect her to have a good run, good long run. But I wouldn't say like a year long or more than a year. Okay, we're getting down to the top 3. Number 3, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. Last year, she was ranked 23rd. I'm a big fan of Deonna Purrazzo. She'll actually be at WrestleCade in Winston-Salem this November, so I look forward to meeting Virtuosa. I've been keeping up with her since Ring of Honor. Great wrestler. The Virtuosa, the Fujiwara armbar specialist, Deonna Purrazzo. I love her. Love her. Number 2, the Red Queen, the current World of Stardom champion, Utami Hayashishita. Yes. Great wrestler. Only been wrestling 3 years and still very young. I think she's only like 22 or 23 years old. but she's been killing it in Stardom ever since she dethroned Mayu Iwatani for the World of Stardom Championship. And she's just been having excellent matches. Great power wrestler, the power wrestler of Queen's Quest. But yeah, she's number 2 and only 3 years wrestling. But I hope she gets beat in December by Shuri, though. The Wrestling with Regret channel does a great review on it. Very thorough and informative. It was baby faces versus heels, but with a Christian twist. And Satan makes an appearance, too. That is, wow. Pretty detailed there. But I'll probably take a look just to see what it looks like, or just to get an idea. But I'll probably look it up just to get an idea. And you mentioned Bianca Belair. Well, she happens to be number one on the PWI's top 150. Bianca Belair, the EST. Last year, she was ranked 23, and she has moved up the rocket and is at the top at number 1 for 2021. I mean, I think Russo wrote it. Really? Interesting. Wow. I may have to look that up. But Bianca Belair, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, number 1, a lot of people might disagree with, but I get her being up there. I mean, Royal Rumble, it's become a top face in the, for the ladies in WWE. Won a Royal Rumble, won SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania in the main event. So, I mean, this really boosted Bianca Belair quite a bit this year. And, this was definitely her year. I know it may have hurt her a little bit, her losing the title in 26 seconds at SummerSlam to Becky Lynch, but still, she's established a lot of notoriety to the point where she's a top female face. So I definitely understand her being number 1. Bianca, baby, you're number 1 for me, and there's not even a number 2. Don't tell Bayley. You might want to make sure Montez Ford doesn't find that out. Because at least Bayley's single. But Bianca Belair, she's off the table. Unless you want to go through and deal with Montez Ford. I'm just saying. But yeah, and like I said, I plan on going through the whole issue offline, but there's already some of these that I agree with. Like Nia Jax is on this list, and I definitely don't think she belongs on this list, but I'll have to read each one in depth. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that'll be all for this episode. We covered quite a lot. SmackDown was an epic fail. Raw will probably be an epic fail as well. But Bayley's single, wasn't she involved with a black wrestler, or was that Jordan Grace? No, that's Jordan Grace. She's either engaged or married to Jonathan Gresham. That's that black wrestler, the Octopus. No, Bayley was engaged to Aaron Solo from AEW, but they broke off the engagement. So she's actually single now. But yeah, she used to be engaged, but yeah, they broke that off. But yeah, Jordan Grace and Jonathan Gresham. That dude's huge. Who, Jonathan Gresham? No, he's rather small. Yeah, he's a cruiserweight. He's a cruiserweight, but he's a submission specialist and a great submission specialist. But yeah, Jonathan Gresham, the octopus, he's cruiserweight size. He's probably about the same size as Brian Danielson. Yeah, he's a small guy. But yeah. So Raw will have its first uh new season post draft. I don't think it'll be any better than SmackDown, but who knows? We'll have to see. But it's getting late and pretty much covered all that I can for this week. Um hopefully next week, hopefully Halloween Havoc will be good. See more of the tournaments for AEW go through, more Goddess of Stardom Tag League. Got a lot of wrestling to look forward to. Should be great. But thank y'all so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed this great content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit a notification bell so you catch every video, especially when I go live. Once again, my name is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram of Blitzball Champ Gaming with another edition of Pro Wrestling Talk. Hope everybody enjoys their weekend, and I will see y'all very soon. God bless and good night. Peace.